Good day. My name is Felicia Mix, and I did my philosophical model analysis on W.E.B. Du Bois. Du Bois was a scholar and activist for African American rights. He was born in the United States in 1868 and died in 1967. His lifespan covered a period in United States history which was the Reconstruction era. The years 1877 through 1910 were crucial decades in establishing the societal, political, economic, and educational patterns which governed racial relations in the South until the Civil Rights Movement of the 1950s and 60s. Du Bois advocated civil rights and equality of educational opportunity for African Americans and others who were denied these rights. There were several major educational tenets to Du Bois's educational theory. First, he opposed Booker T. Washington's support of an accommodating stance for African Americans as second-class citizens. He demanded equality with whites. Initially, he sought this change through the academic and educational realm, but frustrated with the slow pace of change, he later became an activist for this very purpose. Secondly, he disagreed with vocational or industrial education being the end goal for African Americans, especially for males. For this, I'd like to read a section of text from our textbook. It comes from page 430 of the UTEC text, and it reads, "Although the word industrial was used, industrial education really meant basic vocational training in limited skills. Young black men were to learn such trades as brickmaking and bricklaying, shoemaking, carpentry, blacksmithing, and so on, and women were to learn domestic skills of cooking, sewing, food preservation, and childcare. Because most African Americans then were farmers in the rural South, industrial training included learning methods to increase agricultural productivity. In some cases, it prepared African American youth, especially young women, to teach in black elementary schools." This led to Du Bois's third and perhaps most famous tenet of education, which was his ascription to the talented tenth. Du Bois made higher education a key plank in his educational philosophy. It was in colleges, universities, and professional schools that the African American intellectual elite, the vanguard of the movement, the talented tenth, would be educated. This talented tenth was about the 10% of African American population that Du Bois felt had the intellectual capacity and the wherewithal to be trained to be the elite and the leaders, basically to be the ones to elevate the status of the race. He had opinions about elementary and secondary education as well, and he took a broad view of education, defining it as all that shapes a person's outlook and behavior. For Du Bois, the first years of public schooling, regardless of a child's race or class, should cultivate basic literacy and communication skills. W.E.B. Du Bois was an educational thinker who is a model worthy of emulation and whose ideas hold important implications for the current field of education. His ideas had long-range impact on individuals as well as society. Thank you.